Hello everyone, it's Marie from Skeletorama again. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome Marston, give it a hush. So how is everybody? Doing good because we are progressing. So we are on episode 12 already. And we will be doing in this one the window frames for all of I'm going to show you a couple of them. I'm not going to make you watch all of them. That would be ridiculous and it's totally sound like something I would do, but even I'm not that sadistic, right? And then we will be doing the tower roof and putting the eaves on, and yeah, so hope you enjoy. Okay, so I bet you can't guess what we're gonna make now. We're gonna make some windows. There's a ton of them. So what they tell you in here, we've got all the window panes here, is each of the frames, corresponds to the window panes, obviously. And it has a list here of how many of each type of window. And so you've got different measurements for these things, right? So within the window frames themselves that we got, we had two sizes that are vertical. We have two sizes that are horizontal, and you've got 6 3/4 vertical window frames. So now each frame that we make for each window, we're gonna need to make two. Okay, so this window is gonna have an inside and an outside frame. So it's going to match up better than that. There we go. Nope. Clearly, I don't know how I'm doing this. So anyway, all right. So it's going to match here. And see, it wouldn't be here. That's a little too small, but like so. It's going to sit between these. Okay. So they tell you to match it up, with the window frames and stuff, which we'll do. But here is our list of windows. So we have two different windows, the first floor front window, first floor side windows, that are going to be 6 3/8 by 3 1/8 or 6 3/8 by 2 1/8. Okay, so there'll be two of them that are the 6 3/8 by 3 1/8, four of them that are 6 3/8 by 2 1/8. That's just how many window panes there are. So we'll actually have to make 4 window frames that are 6 3/8 by 3 1/8, and 8 of them that are 6 3/8 by 2 1/8. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to figure out all these different things. I have my quilting ruler here, and we're going to measure these. It measures from corner to the corner. Okay, so that is the let's see, where's my actual window frame measurements? Here we go. Okay, so we've got 3 1/2, 2 1/2, 5 3/4, 4 3/4, and 6 3/4. Okay, so the 6 3/4 obviously are going to match up with the 6 3/8 windows. Okay, and so we've got two sets of them. So let's go ahead and let's take our vertical frames here. Move some of this stuff out of the way. I'll be right back with you here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and use the plastic from one of these things of windows because it's really not going to be of much use to us anymore. And then I'm going to grab a couple toothpicks that I'm going to use. I've got my wood glue here, so I'm going to make like a little pile of it so that I can just put with the toothpick, I can put the glue, right on the edge of the frame. And then I have a rag to wipe off the excess glue. I've got my ruler here to see what size is what. My frames. And then like I did with the addition, I'm going to use this to make sure my frames are square. So in the instructions, they have a way that they do it involving rubber bands that I've yet to be able to get to function right. Plus I don't have any rubber bands. I certainly don't have like 30 of them at my disposal today. So I'm just going to do them the way I did them before. So what I'm going to do is, let's say it's this size here. So we're going to go ahead and put it face down like so. We have these here. And let's say it's one of these ones, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to build this within the square. So I'll probably want to have my squares like so, since there's going to be some really tall windows. But when you do it like this here, okay, and then I take my 1, 2, 3 blocks, and I also use these to kind of, block it in here like so, right? Keep it nice and straight. And I will leave each one of them for a few minutes And then once it kind of sets up and is dry, you don't want to pick it up. You want to just kind of scoot it, okay? Because there may be some glue that oozed out onto the glass mat here. It won't stick because it's glass. But this allows us to move it without it falling apart on us, okay? So let's take a look at the first window that it mentions, and that is the one that is 6 3/8 by 3 1/8, okay? So we know it's going to use these 6 3/4 vertical window frames here. So we'll grab 2 of those. And then it's going to be 3 1/8. So as we know, 3 1/2 is the measurement on the actual window. So that is this one right here, okay? So we're going to take 2 of these, and we are going to place them like so and like so, okay? And then to check the fit, we're also going to look for our window that is 6 3/8 by 3 1/8. So this is 6 3/8 by 3 and... Is that 3 1/8? It's 3 2/8. Yes. Okay. So we're going to just sit this on here and go, okay, does this fit? It does. It's going to sit right in that, that area there. Okay. So we've confirmed that yes, it does indeed fit. Put this back in our bag here, and we can go ahead and do this. Now we need 2 of these windows this size, which means we're going to need 4 frames this size. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make them, I think, you know, 1 window size at a time and kind of work our way through it. So first floor right now, move this out of the way here. So we're going to need, that's the outside window. There's the inside window. Then we need another one. So inside and outside. Okay. I'll leave these over here so that way I've got some room to start my little window factory here. I'm going to scoot this over this away so that way when they're done I can kind of push them over to here. Okay, so now we need some more of these. That's this one here, right? Yes. So we need one for this, and we need a set of them for this one, and we need a set of them for this one. Okay, so we'll verify that these are all the same size, and they are. All right, so now that I've got my window bundles, I guess you could say, set up, we'll set them over here. I can go ahead and start making some of my windows. So I'm going to scoot this over a little bit just so I can get to it a little easier. Okay, let's get some glue on here. Glue's making rude noises because, of course. All right. So I've got 1 toothpick to put the glue on and 1 if I need it to get the excess glue off of things. I've got my little rag here for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this long one here and I'm going to put glue on either end. Okay, and then I'm going to put it into the corner of my square. I'll go ahead and take this one and I'm going to put it right up next to it. Okay, I'm going to press down real good and make sure both of these are going into the sides of the square. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one here. I'm going to do the same thing. If you put the glue on each end of the long ones, you don't have to put them onto the short ones because they're going to touch glue. So no worries there. Okay, so we got glue here again. Okay, I'm going to sit this one here. I'm going to bring this one down here and I'm going to get everybody nice and square. Okay, and I'm going to wipe off my extra glue. Like I said, you could do this, you could use a toothpick, 601 really. You just definitely want to get that glue off. So like here in this little corner, I'm going to use a toothpick because it's easier. Same with that little spot right there. Okay, this corner. All right, so now I'm going to take my 1, 2, 3 block and I'm going to sit it right here. Oops. Make sure I'm not knocking myself out of square. And I'm going to sit this one right here. I'm kind of gently press on them. If you press too hard, they'll just go and shoot off in different directions. But this should work right here just fine. And then I'm going to let this sit give it a few minutes to get nice and set up, and then I will move on to the next one until I have 4 of these. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I will join you guys back when we go on to the next window. All right, so as you can see, we have our 4 window frames that we needed for the first window. So what we're going to do is we're going to move those very carefully. So what I have here is from when I painted and stained everything. I had these pieces of cardboard box. And so I'm going to place them very gently on here, making sure that they're staying square. I'm going to put them all right next to each other so I can make sure they're staying square. And this one, I've already scooted it over to the side. I'll scoot it again just to be on the safe side. Make sure it's not sticking to anything. We'll bring this up here. Okay, so now we've got 4 of our windows. This is for the first floor. That way they can sit over there and they can dry nice and thoroughly. Okay, so now what is our next window? Well, this is the one we've got 4 of, so we're actually going to need 8. So 6 3/8 we know is this one right here. Okay, 6 3/8, and these are the first floor side windows, and 2 1/8. So that's going to be the piece that is 2.5 inches. Okay, I mean, yeah, 2.5 inches, and it is. Okay, so this is going to sit here like so. Get one more of these like this. Okay, so we're going to grab our window, and this is for the window that's 6 3/8 and 2 1/8. Okay, so there's 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. So again, this should sit right here very nicely, and it does. Okay, so put this back in here, and since we have 4 windows like that, it means we need 8 of these. Okay, so there's one, and that should finish off the rest of these too. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And with most of the lengths of the window stuff, they did give you 1 extra one. Okay, so that's why I've got 1 left. All right, so now I need these shorter horizontal frames here. So 2 for that one, and 2 for that one, 2 for that one, 2 for that one, 2, 2, and 2. All right. So it's helpful this way to have all these set like this, because that way I know at any given point what I'm dealing with, right? So let's get some room over here, and I will set my little window bundles aside and get started on these windows. If I can find somewhere to put all these. There we go. Okay, so again, I'm going to do it exactly the same way. So we're going to take our glue, and we're going to put it on each end of the long piece. You don't need a ton. Now, if you're painting this, they tell you to not get any paint on this end here. And that's true. But I stained it. So stain behaves differently than paint does. So it's not going to be as much of a problem as far as gluing things together. The problem comes when, see how we're gluing this way, we've got the glue oozing out. If I glued it first and then stained it, chances are I'm going to have trouble with the stain taking over the glue, because it won't absorb if there's glue residue. So that's why I prefer to stain first and then glue, because then, if I have to, I can touch up the stains, not a big deal. But I'd rather touch up the stain than have the weird colored, slightly stained bit that looks terrible. All right, so again, we have these here, and I'm getting them nice and square, making sure the corners line up. And I'm kind of holding them down like this and wiping off all of the edges. And it's also making sure everybody's flat all the way down, because I did have one where it was kind of trying to pop up a little bit. And I can get any of the glue from these corners with my toothpick. And I can flick the entire part of the window out. Jesus. Okay. Try that again. A little more gently this time. Okay. So I am going to take my 1, 2, 3 block. I'm going to sit it here. Sit this one here. That way I don't necessarily have to hold it to get the rest of the glue residue. All right, and so again, just like with the other ones, I'm going to keep it nice and square. I'm going to let it set up for a few minutes. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to take these away. I'm going to push it a little bit with the square. So just in case it's gotten stuck to the bottom with the other glue, I don't pick it up and, you know, yank half of it off. So I will go ahead and make all 8 of these windows, and I will come back to you guys again, or I'll just go ahead and continue making these. I don't know. I'm sure y'all can figure it out from here, right? So again, then we'll move on to the second floor and then the tower. And however many it says here, you can make double that number. Okay, so 2 second floor front windows, which means we need 4 frames, 4 second floor side windows, 8 frames, 1 tower front, 2 frames, 2 tower sides, 4 frames. Okay, and I will see you guys back when I have a whole bunch of windows frames to show you. Well, I'm done doing all of the frames, all 30 of them. So they are sitting over on the cardboard, drying and getting nice and set up. So now we are going to work on the tower roof. So I brought the tower ceiling and floor piece out because eventually this is going to go into it, right? And so what I've done is there was that one little flat part on here that I had left unpainted. When I put it on the dollhouse to make sure that the walls of the tower were level and everything was good and it was fitting, I noticed that this part, it doesn't actually really touch, so it didn't need to be left unpainted. So I went ahead and painted that, and I touched up those little spots that I had missed. So now we are going to go on to doing the roof. I'm going to set this aside. And here's our instruction section on the roof. So what we're going to do is we are going to be putting this together. So we've got the roof back and we have the roof spacer. They're kind of different. So everything is going to go with the bevels down. Okay, we can take the little thing off that now. Okay, so we have the ones with the little points. These are the tower roof corners. And then we have the one that has the flat piece on the top. That's the tower roof face, okay? So the way they have it laid out is we have corner, corner, well, they go this way, corner, corner, face piece, corner, and corner. Okay, so we're gonna line all these up at the bottom and at the top, like so. Like this, and then with the spacer, it's going to be down here at the bottom. So the spacer is for if you don't want the, if you want the opening so you can use the tower as a room, you'll take this off once everything's dried. Otherwise, you can leave it in, and along with this piece here, you'll just shingle it like everything else, okay, and seal that room up. So we are going to go get the tape because I left it in the other room. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, back with the tape. All right. So we are going to tape these together. So first we'll line everything up here at the bottom. Oops. And we will put a piece across each two pieces, right? So same thing, everything is lined up real good. Another piece there. And it's nice because they give you kind of a diagram as well of where to tape stuff, which is cool. All right, make sure this is all lined up straight. And the same with this one. And then the spacer. So line this up at the bottom, obviously. There's that part here. All right, and then we're going to have a piece of tape that's going to extend and keep all these pieces here together. And then a couple bigger pieces sort of here in the center doing the same thing. Going over kind of like 3 of them at a time. So there we go. Make sure that spacer's nice and tight against there. And voila. Okay. So that this way it's going to hold them together while we glue them into the tower shape, which is going to come around like so. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. See? So what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on all of the bevels here that are between these, except for this one here. And we're not going to glue this to this because I do want to use the tower as a room. So I'm going to let's get my other glue here. Nope, don't do that. Seriously. I just literally just said it. All right, so put a little bead of glue in here and down this one. And this one. Easier said than done here. Oh, come on, you're working just fine. There we go. This glue is so temperamental sometimes. All right, so there we go. So we've got it between all of those. And it will squish itself out like so. And then what we can do kind of as we roll this together, that's when you take your glue off. And then, you know, again, once it's completely put together, this will get the bulk of what's going to come out. Okay, so we've got that this way. Then we're going to grab our spacer, set it here, and then we're going to tape this section here as well. Okay, and it's good to have it like on a flat surface so that you can make sure everything's flat, although I'm having to sort of chase it around to the flat surface. That's not fun. Okay, there we go. Piece tape a little long, that's all right. Okay. And then we'll have another piece in the center. And then one up here kind of at the top. All right, voila. Okay, and now we can take our top here and then we can line this up. And you're gonna line it up at the top. Okay, so I'm gonna put, well, I'm gonna take that off first. And I'm gonna put some glue on here and on this side and on this beveled side here as well. So this time I am going to spread the glue out and make it a little easier. Make sure I've got enough. All right, there we are. Okay, so this is down here so you can see. I'm going to line this up here. And of course, the stuff I drew on it doesn't match up. That's great, but that's fine. So I'm going to light it up here at the top. Get the extra glue off, and then we will tape this. I'm not going to worry about these lines for the shingles because I'll use the lines from the other pieces that do line up. So there you go. Tape this here and here, and then I'll do one over the top. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so when this is on the house, this part will be facing towards the back, just like the rest of the rooms do and stuff. So we have our ceiling piece here. So you've got this flat part here is going to line up with the roof here. This is the front and that's the back. So we're going to turn this around like so. And then we're going to sit this in here. So that way we know it's going to dry in the right configuration. Okay. So we're going to let this sit in here. We're going to let these set up quite a bit. Once they have set up, then we're going to take this, we're going to remove our spacer piece, and then we're going to glue this into place. Okay. So I'll see you guys back when this is a little more dried. Okay, so in theory, this is set up enough. They tell you can glue it in before it dries, but I kind of wanted to wait until I was able to take this off once I set it back in here, just to make sure. So this fits real good in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put glue in these grooves here, just not this front one, because of course that's where the opening will be. And then we will sit this back in here, and then I will take the front off once we've got it in here. So put a fairly decent bead of glue. Put that in there, and then we are going to sit this back in here to glue it down. And now that that's in here, I'm going to remove the tape from this front piece and remove it. There we are. So push down on here. Make sure this is actually going in the way it should. And then we can tape this down also. And any glue that we see squishing up on the inside, go ahead and get that. Okay, and then they have this piece if you're gonna not use the spacer, because you can, like I said, leave it on and shingle it and have, you know, no room in there to do. There is a tower ceiling groove fill. So what this is for is this is to fill this little groove right here, if you are gonna use it, okay? So instead of trying to cut it with saw or anything, I'm going to go ahead and use this. Okay, so I'm going to turn this here because I'm going to want to get the angle on that too. But this is an easy cutter, so this one you can put on here and you just squeeze it and cut right through it. Way easier than the X-Acto. Okay, perfect. So that's this angle here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it so that this point is here. I'm going to find a pencil. Do I have a pencil? Okay, so it's going to end right about here. So this time I'm going to take my pencil line into consideration here. I'm going to cut on the inside of it. Okay, so this should fit it right snug in there, and it will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue, and open the glue, put glue on this bottom piece here, spread it out and get it on the ends of it also, where they're going to be touching the rest of the roof. Okay. And I'm just going to tap this into here. There you go. Get any extra glue off and just make sure this is in here nice and tight. Okay, so if you're going to do that, that is a 60-degree, 120-degree angle, okay, to get that same angle that's on here. That's what I changed it to. All right, we'll be using this a bit later too. So now what we're going to do is we are going to let this sit here and dry. This part we're not going to glue onto the main body of the house until they say all the interior stuff is done. So it'll make it nice and easy to get into that tower room to put the wallpaper on for sure. So I'm going to leave this and let's see what our next step is. Our next step is going to be the eaves. So we will go out there and attach the eaves real quick. The next part we have to do are the eaves. Now some idiot, that might be me, painted the wrong side. I was right the first time. This would be the underside here, right? Because this is going down like this. So whoopsie, but anyway. So we're going to go ahead and do the eaves. And you know what? I have a sneaking suspicion that these don't get shingled anyway. So I'll probably come along and paint other two pieces, but I can do those once they're in there. That's not a big deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue them here, here, and here. So I'm going to start with, I think, the little piece first. And let's see, let's go to the instructions, see what we need to line up. And it doesn't say. Okay, fine. So we'll do the small one first. Okay, so it's going to go right here like so. It's going to line up with the bottom of this roof here. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on, let's see if I can do this so you can see it, on this surface here and this surface here. Okay. So this is going to go right here. Wipe my extra glue off. Okay, so there's one. Same thing here. So this is going to go up here like this, and you have this long bevel here that's going to connect with your bay window. Okay, words are not working today. All right, and so since this piece here is going to come up and over like so, we just need to make sure that it's lining up with the bottom, like this corner here, the bottom edge of this. So this one I'm just going to put one piece of tape on it for right this second, because I want to put this piece on so I make sure that that's okay. So now this piece here is going to go from up here down to the roof. There's going to be a little bit of clearance here on this. Hopefully you can see this bottom part, so that when you put the shingles in, you can fit a shingle under there. Okay, make sure to leave that. So it's going to go on, let's see, there we go. It's going to go on this long edge here. I'm going to put a little bit up here as well. Once again, I don't have a piece of tape ready. Really not smart. Okay. There we go. All right. It's going to go right here. Make sure it's level with the top. Get my extra glue. Go ahead and start taping this. Okay, and now that we've got that one there, we can adjust this one if need be. Hair real quick. This is nice and tight with that one. Now put that one down. So that should do it for those, and then we are on to some more decorative trim. We're going to be doing the arch and the railings next. So see you back at the desk. Okay, so that is it for episode 12. So next time we are going to start working on some trim. We're going to do our balcony rails. We're going to do these whatevers. And I'm going to finally take the box of trim and figure out what is what and start painting it. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.